fellow guitarist, Josh Rogers here. Welcome to the live stream. So it's a Sunday morning here in New Zealand, 11 o'clock in the morning, and wherever you are in the world, thank you for being here. I can't tell who's here right now, but Ruben, if that's you watching, nice to see you from Texas, I see. It must be nice and warm over there at the moment. It's winter here. So yes, welcome to the live stream, everyone. If you're new to the channel, my name is Joshua Rogers. And I taught this piece, Asturias or Leyenda, on my channel many years ago. It's probably one of the first pieces that I uploaded, and it's extremely popular. I think one of the reasons that it's popular is because it's just it's very hypnotic. It seems to represent everything that is Spanish music, and it's great to play on guitar. Reginald, hey man, how are you? Nice to see you here. Yeah, so Asturias, and it's widely requested. I get a lot of questions asking how to play it or how to interpret it. And when I uploaded the lessons a few years ago, I have to kind of get through them pretty quickly. Otherwise, people get frustrated. So there's a lot of things I can't really dig into in a formal kind of lesson like that. But a live stream, I've realized that I can dig into those things a lot more deeply. So what I wanted to discuss today about Asturias is just some finer points of the interpretation, what the piece is all about, especially kind of from a theory point of view. And if you've got any questions about the piece, how to play it, any technical suggestions or things that you're struggling with, please feel free. Remember to introduce yourself down in the comments there. I always love seeing who's here and who's playing what type of guitar and what pieces you're all learning and everything. But without further ado, let's get into it. So Asturias, it's in ternary form. Now, if you haven't really studied music theory, don't worry about it too much. All ternary form means is ABA. So I'm sure we're familiar with the A section, which is this. Repeats. That's basically the A section, and then it doubles up. But you can see the bass notes are the same. It just sounds way more busy because that doubling of the Bs and the octave Bs intensifies the whole piece. It makes it almost sound like it's double speed, but it's not. It's the same speed. It's just these 16th notes are coming in. And of course, we've had to change the fingering. So instead of doing it here, we have to go. Or the open G. So that's the A section anyway, and it's sort of, well, there's a bit to it, but at the end of the A section, it goes like this. So this is the A, that's the end of the A section. And then the B section comes in, which is this, when it goes into the octaves. and that kind of concludes with that. So that part there, that's the B section. And then we have a da capo, which means from the beginning. So it goes all the way back to the beginning. And then so that's the A section repeated as the da capo. And then we're into the coda, which is the ending statement. So the form is A, B, A, coda. Yeah, so that's the form of Asturias Leyenda, A B A coda. So it's quite good to just to sort of think about the form of pieces. I'm just going to check to see who else is here. So Bridges, Getty, hi man. Oh, Tasmania, Australia, cool. One of my old bandmates called Scott, Scott Jones. He's from Perth, but he's been living in Tasmania for quite a few years. Loves the place. It looks beautiful too. Kind of like New Zealand. Some of the pictures that he's posted. It's just wow, beautiful place. Oh, original. That's cool. Oh well, it's awesome to have you here. Then, isn't it an amazing piece? Who else we got there? Oh, Mishani, thank you, man. Yeah. Well, it's classical guitar. That's the thing, eh? It's not that popular. I mean, people that love it. But I've got so many guitarist friends, and they don't listen to classical guitar at all. It's just not that they don't like it. It's just not their thing. They like blues or metal or something like that. It's quite funny. I mean, I find that classical guitarists tend to like all styles of guitar, but non-classical guitarists they're not so open. I find to like classical guitar, and that they don't really listen to it. At least not the guitar mates that I have. Oh, you've been playing Asturias many years, still stuck halfway through. Yes, you shall prevail, sir. You shall prevail. Howdy, Stony Eagle. Howdy, howdy. So we've covered the form, ternary form, ABA, Coda. Now let's have a look at the scales that are used in Asturias. There's really only two. The main one, of course, is the E harmonic minor scale, which is this scale here. And you can see the opening stanza, that malagueña. It's taking most of those notes except for the 2 and the 7. So they're there and interposed with that pedal note on the B. Now we get to hear a little bit more of it there, but in that instance, Albeniz has chosen to switch to the melodic minor, which introduces the D natural there. Okay, so we have E harmonic minor. If you want to dig a little bit deeper, it also goes to the Hungarian gypsy minor, which introduces the A sharp. So we have like that. And the other scale, which really comes into play in the B section, is the B Phrygian dominant scale, which is this. Very exotic sounding scale. And basically all the B Phrygian dominant is the E harmonic minor scale starting on the 5th degree. So we have this. If we go through the E harmonic minor scale, the 5th note is B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the B. Now all we do is play the E harmonic minor notes, but we start and finish on B. So if we start on this B. There are also some other notes that are thrown in there. There's a D natural and also the A sharp. So if we sort of put all of those notes together, at any point in time, Albeniz is switching between all of these. So it could end up sounding something like this. All of those notes are there. So the main two scales, E harmonic minor and B Phrygian dominant. So I'm not too sure how to say your name, Mishani Ebbett. I'm not sure, man. I've probably murdered that. Let's have a look at the second section because you're struggling with it. No one's really mentioned anything else. So let's have a look at the B section, which is when it goes into the octaves. Okay, that's one way of fingering them. You can finger those octaves on the G and the B string, the G and the E string. Now, the reason why it's quite nice to finger it on those two strings is you don't get any string noise. When I first learned to play this, I was doing the lower octave on the D string. And it's really hard to avoid that sound there, or at least it is for me. However, if you choose the third and first strings, you don't have that concern. Yeah, so if we look at the scale there, we've moved to the B. It's not quite B Phrygian dominant yet because we're not hearing this, only in that little slur here. And there's no D sharp. So at this point in time, Albeniz is using this type of tone. There. I use a rest stroke for the melodic note. It gives it a nice full sound, and I play up, getting towards the sul tasto region of the guitar, which is over here. Now, you can play the octaves at exactly the same time, or you can split it up. So you could, where you're playing the lower octave just ahead of the melodic octave. Like that. Or you can play them both at the same time. And then we have the B major scale, B major chord, followed by an octave at the 16th fret. Now, the way I do the octave is first finger or index finger and thumb. And the reason I use that and not index and annular is because the annular finger slightly scrapes the string. So if you I'll play the two and you can hear what I mean. Can you hear that? I don't know. There's a slight scrape. You can't really avoid that. But if you use index finger and thumb, you can. Yeah, there's no string sound at all. No scraping of my nail sound. Very clean. And then we do it again. And it's nice to change the timbre. So this time I'll go to Ponticello. Then we have the introduction of that A flat. So Spanishy. And then we have the, which is, so we've got the 1, the flat 2, and the raised 7th. If you're looking at it from a B Phrygian dominant perspective. But they've got that raised note there, the A sharp. So it's a really good idea to try to familiarize yourself with the way these scales sound and how idiosyncratic they are and how associated they are with the Spanish kind of sound that a lot of us from the West perceive Spanish music to sound like. So yeah, we have the oh yeah, there we go. Now on that chord, I just like to go the opposite way. So I'm coming up this way, not going that way. can see that there. It's just something I like to do. It sort of changes it up from here. Yeah, so that whole section, the B section, is something like this. I hope that's helping. Remember to let me know where you're from. Burko. How does Andre Segovia play it? Honestly, the version I'm most familiar with is John Williams' version when he's playing in the Seville concert. One of my favorite videos of all time, I must say. So I'm not really familiar with the way Andre Segovia plays it. Yeah, and then so the next part of the B section, we're moving to the G major chord. So here, I like to emphasize the bass because I think that's where the action is. Yeah, so that part again. I really like to just rest in on that F sharp there. And then we're back to the B Phrygian dominant. And it's so interesting how Albeniz is switching between the D sharp and the D natural. So here we've got a D sharp. But there, it's a D natural, like straight away. That's a part where this part I think you can really dig in there. It's so powerful. So there we have a little scalar passage there. Once again, we've got that A flat, A sharp, sorry. The very first time we see the introduction of it's kind of like an E Phrygian dominant or E Phrygian now with the F natural. So I'd like to dig in there as well. So we're on to this section now. There I sort of make it jump a little bit. From a technical perspective on the left hand, sorry. There's no need to move your fingers around too much, so the shapes are fairly similar there. I would also recommend making sure that you have your pull-off technique really nice and clean. Like there. That's a pull-off. So make sure when you're doing a pull-off, you're going down and across the string, not just lifting off like that. If you do that, the C sounds very weak. But if you go down and across, it sounds very nice. And then we're up to the next section. So we just finished. Then not too much going on there, really. So when we get to that point, I think it's a really good idea to make the notes sound as sonorous as possible, emulating the singer. The singer's finally getting a chance to shine there. I look at those as like the singer's notes. So where are we? Yeah, really, really aim for a beautiful full sound there. I used to change strings here, like that, but I think it's quite nice to stay on the B string, like that. I don't know, it's up to you, but sometimes when you get to that level, everyone wants to just keep the overall sound the same, and so even at the expense of greater technical difficulty, an advanced guitarist might choose to play all the notes on the same string, like that, instead of. And you can definitely hear the change in tone. Sounds nice, don't get me wrong, it's awesome. And not wrong. But if, like I said, when some people are getting to a certain level, that's not acceptable for them. They want it to sound all the same. So they play it on the same string, even though it involves an extra position shift. Oops. As opposed to. It's something to think about in your guitar playing, is how the melody, how even are the notes sounding? Are they uniform? I.e., are they all sort of sounding at a similar volume, and are they sounding the same overall? Not sort of something like three totally different tones there. It's a little bit strange, but those are very even. You could even just play with the same right hand finger, and then the notes sound very, very similar to one another, and it's very pleasing very pleasing to the ear. But that's more advanced type of technical approach, I suppose. Who else we got? Oh, Guatemala. Awesome, man. And Carrie Harris. California. Yee-hee. California. I really want to go to California. Seems like the place to be. Oh, you're welcome, man. I'm glad. How long have you been watching? Okay, so yeah, let's just recap that B section. So we're here. Bass, 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 bass. Make the pull-offs really clean here. Okay, so we're almost at the end there. There we have Albeniz again, playing around with the D natural and the D sharp. There's a D sharp, but here there's a D natural. So when you're doing these parts, it's really important to get the pull-offs very, very clear. Yeah. Remember, a good pull-off goes down and across the string. It doesn't lift off. So you can hardly hear it. That's a bad one because you can't hear the E. This is a good one because you can hear the E. For the sake of practice, sometimes it's quite nice to make those bits just a bit louder, like. You wouldn't play it like that in concert, but just for your own practice, and it just makes you more aware. And then when you're secure with the pull-off, you make it sound more natural. And there the thumb is doing a lot, so you can play around with how much nail and skin you're using. So you could get quite a clear, sharp, vibrant sound with more nail. And if you use the side of your thumb, it becomes very round and full. So when you're playing it in concert, it might go something like this. As guitarists, it's very easy to sort of get into the same tone, especially if in a piece like Asturias, which is it pushes every guitarist in some way. Even the best players struggle to get through the whole thing without a mistake. I don't think I've ever heard anyone really get all the way through it. John Williams is pretty close, but if you listen, there's one little bit where you can actually hear him striking the E twice. It's I don't even know why I've got the right to say that, but I mean it's very very difficult. It does challenge every guitarist, and so my point is, sometimes when you're concentrating that much, and you're just thinking all you want to do is get the notes right, we tend to forget that it's still meant to be musical, and it's the overall sound is still meant to be pleasing and uh, exciting for the listener. So if we play that little bit like this, it's cool. Like that sounds really good. I hit all the right notes, and there's nothing wrong with it. Technically, it was fine. It's all good, but it's repetitive because it's the same thing done twice. So to avoid it becoming monotonous for the listener, remember the listener is not like you. You're involved in playing the guitar. They're involved in listening to you. So what it's nice to change up the tone. So we might go for a bold tone at the beginning, and a nice fat warm sound the second time we play it. And you might play around with some other stuff too, like dropping the volume or playing some things a bit more marcato or staccato, like, which is more jumpy. Let's remember that this is a stylized malagueña. So, what's a stylized malagueña? Malagueña is very popular, sort of. That's that classic Mexican head dance type. Yeah. How does it go? That's the malagueña that we're all very, very familiar with. So a stylized one just means a composer, a very knowledgeable composer, has got his or her hands on it and given it the classical treatment, which is what we have here. So I think you can take some liberties here and there. And for me, that little bit, even though it's just a bar or two, there's a lot of scope for trying out these different sounds for that you're projecting out to the audience. In some ways, it's almost like digital delay. You know how we have that tick, 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 or an echo. So we just the first time through is like the statement or the shout, and the second time is the echo. And then we have, which is the same technique as the beginning. So that's the second part done. I'm sure a lot of you are here to have a look at the technique. of the right hand in particular, because the right hand, uh, it's it's a it's difficult for sure, because Asturias, it's quite a long, you're playing pretty rapidly for a long time, and there's really no let up for quite a few bars. It's just 16th notes for ages and ages and ages. And so it's very tricky. So let's have a look at how you can get through this part here. So what I'm doing there is I'm trying to plant my index and middle fingers, and I treat them as if they're one finger. So what I mean by planting is I'm getting them both on at the same time. See that? And I try to keep my hand very steady. So I'm treating them as if they're one finger. That's how I'm thinking in my mind when I'm playing. One finger. So the next part, if you have any questions, please ask. If I'm going too quickly, or I'm covering something that, or if you want me to cover something in particular. So now we're up to the next part, which is where am I? Same idea. Don't move your finger, the right hand, too much. Yeah, so the idea is to keep your right hand very, very steady, and your finger movement to a bare minimum. I mean, it's like that anyway. You should be doing that. But in particular, pieces like this, which are technically very challenging, sometimes our technique just sort of falls to pieces. And so I'm just saying this to remind you to keep your hand very steady, and just, very, very little movements here. Where are we? Little movements. So this chord, I'm actually using my index and annular there, these two. Don't have to. You could still keep using PIM if you wanted to. I just switched to the annular because there's a string in between. Back to IM. I murdered that. Long Tran, you made it. Awesome. You were the only person to comment on my post. So, yeah, nice to see you back here, man. Vietnam. Cool. I've never had a chance to go there, but I really want to one day. Oh, you heard it too. Burke. You heard it too. Yeah, it was like, man, it was just a fraction of a second, but incredible that John Williams could play like that back in the day. Yeah, so the right hand, just keeping on, making sure it's relaxed, it's not moving too much, and just try that. If you're struggling with the speed there, try to think of your index and middle, or whichever two fingers you're using to play those rapid notes. Think of them as one finger, and they're just slightly delay between moving. One finger. Another thing is the transitions between positions. So here we've got that. Jesus, when I try to play it slow, I can't get it. Yeah, so there. I'm using the open G to transition. Yeah. There. If I didn't use it, there's no way I could get there that quick. There. You can just practice that over and over and over. And then you'll find it's not actually that hard. What else? Anything tricky on the rasguero? What do you mean, buddy? Anything tricky on the... I mean, the rasguero, it's up to you how you want to do it and how well developed your rasguero is. If you've got the old chiquito, annular, middle, and index rasguero going, and you've got time to get it in like that. It's all if it depends if you can fit it in. I mean, I'm not quick enough to sort of fit that one in, which is all four. So I think I'm just using these two fingers together. I'm not sure. Maybe I am flicking it out. It's funny, I haven't really analyzed it. Oh, I think I am. Nah, maybe not. I think I'm just sort of using these three and kind of just spreading them out a little bit. Yeah, I think what I'm doing is these three, and I'm kind of flicking them out a little bit. I think it depends where I am too. Yeah. I think for the most part, I'm actually I don't even know if you could technically call it a rasguero. I'm just strumming once with all three together. Sorry, you probably can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, all good, man. Yeah, I think that's what it is. All three kind of together. Actually, that's what I'm doing. It's funny, I've never really analyzed it, man. Honestly, I don't know if there's much time to do a mightier rasguero, like a full flick. It'll sound cool though. I'd probably, if I was trying to do that, I'd have to work up to it, because even just noticing it then, it was slowing down how quickly I could get to the next chord or the next notes. Sounds good though. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, man. I hope it helps. Yeah, so that's that. Oh yeah, cool. So let's move to the coda, which is the happens after the ABA section. So now we're at the end of the piece. So I think just towards the end there, what have we got? So now we're to the coda. So the coda is the very end of the piece. It's starting with the open B. But in this section, I really like to go for a nice, warm, and like a contemplative kind of feeling. And I think it's really nice to use the fleshy part of your thumb for a very warm, round tone. And here, remember, this is just me. This is how I do it. You don't have to do it like I do. And then I nice and ponticello sound. So the first one is quite prominent, and then it backs back. Yeah, amazing piece. If anybody else has any questions, please do ask in the comments section. I'd be really glad to help in any way that I can. What else is everybody working on? Ooh. Struggling with the third part of La Catedral. Oh man. That's a big piece, isn't it? Barrios. I can remember a little bit. Something like that. No. Uh, I haven't played that piece in years and years and years. Beautiful piece though, but very difficult. Yeah, I've you know what? I've never actually played La Catedral. I've just sort of noodled with it, but it is absolutely beautiful. I think Anna Vidovic does a particularly wonderful uh, interpretation of La Catedral. Of course, John Williams. Wow, amazing. Carl. Oh, you know what? It's good to be back, man. I'm gonna try and make this a regular thing. Yeah, every Sunday or Saturday, or one day on of the weekend. Oh, you bought Pumping Nylon by Scott Tennant. And how's it? How's it? Do you like it? That book changed my life, man. Pumping Nylon. Scott Tennant's got such a good approach. Yeah, he must be an amazing teacher in person. I can just tell from the book that he's put a lot of thought into the guitar, and of course, he's a phenomenal guitar player. Member of the LA Guitar Quartet, of course, with Andrew York, William Cannon Geiser, and who's the fourth? I can see his face, but I just can't remember his name. William Cannon Geiser, Scott Tennant, Andrew York, and the fourth guy. Damn. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, just a phenomenal book. I used so many of the principles out of that book to improve my own technique and approach to guitar playing, and it lifted my playing to another level. So, anyone else struggling with any other bits of Asturias? That was the whole point of the lesson. What's your favorite part? Who's your favorite person that plays it? Who do you think's got the best interpretation? I mean, it's definitely one of the hallmark pieces in the classical guitar repertoire. I think I played it for one of my exams back in the day. Yeah, love it. And it's got a bit of everything in it. That's the cool thing. It's got octaves, it's got harmonics, it's got palm muting. I like that run. I just think that's really nice. I think some guitarists do a little arpeggio. something like that. I've never bothered to learn that. I like this one. Finishing off with that nice little natural harmonic. But I mean, Asturias has got everything in it for a guitarist. It's just a wonderful way of showing how capable the guitar is of creating a myriad of different sounds. I mean, you've got this pedal tone going at the beginning. It's just so hypnotic. Indeed, you've got the strumming, the rasguero. It's just got everything. Everything. Love it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Uh, Fight fan, greetings from Chicago. Greetings from New Zealand, man. I've got a friend out in Chicago, a guy called Lenny. I didn't get a chance to perform with him, but I used to live in I used to live in Bali a few years back, and an international band that I joined called Kaha. Uh, we kind of we all got together in Bali. I might as well digress a little bit. Here's a little bit of a story about my international traveling. Yeah, so that was back in 2009. I was living in New Zealand. I'd been home for a couple of years away from the international touring scene. And then one of my friends that was still touring from New Zealand, he contacted me and said, "Oh, Josh, there's a New Zealand guy, Kiwi guy, looking for a guitar player for an international band." And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm keen." I got in contact with the guy, and we had a couple of rehearsals here in New Zealand, and then we flew to Bali. Now, the reason why we flew to Bali was some of the members of the band were Indonesian. So there was myself, the bass player, one female singer, and the drummer. We were all from New Zealand. Keyboard player was from Aussie. He was living in Bali at the time. And another male singer and female lead singer, they're Indonesian, and they were both living in Bali at the time as well. And there was a guy out there called Joe. I won't give his last name out, but he used to sort of run a lot of international bands out of Bali. So international bands, people from all over the world, but they would all come to Bali because it's kind of cheap to live there. And this guy Joe would put us up in his sort of hotel that it wasn't a fancy hotel. It was more like just rooms actually. And we'd all stay in these rooms, and we'd we'd all get together as a band and practice and rehearse, and then we were trying to secure contracts in 5-star hotels. And yeah, so I sort of was out there on the road, and I met a guy from Chicago called Lenny, amazing bass player, loved politics, still does actually. But yeah, good guy, right into Jaco Pastorius, Stuart Ham, those types of guys. So yeah, I've got a couple of connections in Chicago, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. It does play into the strengths of the classical guitar, definitely. Tane, greetings from New Zealand. Greetings to you over there in India. I'm glad you love the channel, man. Really, honestly. I used to work with a lot of people from India. Heaps. They taught me a few words like Tandapani, Ekto Tin, something like that. Apkesa he. I had to learn because I wanted cold water, so that's how I learned Tandapani. Oh, Quebec. Comment ça va? Oh, wow. Isn't it horrible when you get a note that bad? What a laugh. So yeah, if you have any questions about Asturias, please let me know. Let me know. Oh, très bien. Excellent, excellent. I learned a little bit of French when I was living in all places in a country in Africa called Djibouti. I did it. My wife and I did a gig there for a year. It was the most interesting gig I've ever done, and yeah, they speak French in addition to their own native languages, of course. They're amazing people. They speak French, English, and their own tribe. There's two tribes there, I think, called one is the Afa and one is Isa. Not sure they get along exactly, but however, they tend to know one another's language to varying degrees. There are some that are fluent in both, and others that probably know a respectable amount of the other language. Plus, they can all speak French, and quite a few of them can also speak English. So yeah, it was really cool. And they taught me some French and some of their little smatterings of their native languages as well. But yeah, that's where I learned ça va, comment ça va, little bits and pieces. All strings nylon. Probably not, man. Is that what you want? I've never seen it, and I've been playing for 30 plus years. I've never seen a classical guitar strung entirely with nylon strings. By nylon strings, I assume you mean like these ones, replacing 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, yeah, it's obviously going to make a difference. Yeah, interesting question. Why don't you try? Just put them on your guitar. You're probably going to have some difficulties tuning this low, though, unless you can find some really thick nylon strings. You might need to use some fishing nylon or something like that to get that thickness to be able to be taken down to the to this low pitch here. You would definitely avoid this kind of scraping sound, which is the scourge of a lot of classical guitarists, is this that kind of sound there. I guess if you went all nylon, yeah, you'd avoid that altogether. Very interesting question. Has anyone here actually played Asturias all the way through? Yeah, I agree. Probably not. Probably not. For a start, there's hardly anyone that can play it. Yeah, even classical guitarists, you've got to reach a pretty high level to be able to play Asturias. Whereas Stairway to Heaven, it's not that tricky, is it? I probably won't play any more than that because I'll probably get pinged. Copyright, some type of copyright challenge on my on my channel on this video. Oh, nice, Burko. How'd you get on? How'd you feel when you were playing it? Did you get through it pretty well? University Students Club concert. Nice, man. Nice. First concert performance. Well done, man. Well done. How long did you play for? How many pieces and what were the pieces? Yeah, nerves, eh, man? Like, it gets me too. It's funny. Depends what style I'm playing. If I'm up on stage rocking out the electric guitar, I don't get nervous. I get a little bit anxious, I suppose, but I'm fine. Like my nerves aren't, like my fingers aren't shaking or anything. I'm not breaking out in a cold sweat. However, if I'm playing classical in front of a lot of people, yeah, I get pretty nervous. I've got to say, even now, after many many years. Although I very rarely, I haven't given a classical solo guitar concert for I don't know, it could be 20 years maybe. Yeah. But good on you, man. Good on you. It's awesome to try to conquer your fears, eh? Well, not to say you were fearful, but it's awesome to get out there and put yourself on the spot. Very, very challenging. Hey, Michael. Greetings to you over there in the USA. Greetings from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, I love my new guitar. I can't believe it. It's made me a better player. Yeah. I mean, my Takamine is really good. I'm not dissing that guitar at all, but it's nothing compared to this. This guitar is so easy to play. It's got very good bass response as well, which my Takamine just never had. Yeah, it didn't. It could never. No matter what, I tried a lot of different strings on it, and that, but the bass would just never pop. But this one is just bass for days. Like even in this piece. So nice. Ah, just Asturias, just the one piece. Oh, that's a big piece to play, just to get straight into it. You didn't even have a chance to do some easier warm up pieces. A classical music night. Awesome, man. So, are you studying music at university? Yeah, Leyenda. It is the piece. I remember the first time I think I saw it was John Williams on the Seville concert on VHS. That's what we have here in New Zealand. Back in the day, it was VHS. I think in the United States or whatever, it was something else, uh, beta or something like that. Anyway, in New Zealand, it was VHS. And I was in my first year at university studying classical guitar, and I went to the local music shop and I saw it there in the VHS case. It was about this big, and you had to put it into the video recorder and that. And I was just mesmerized. I learned so many of the pieces from that. The Seville concert, I learned Sakura, Seville, Asturias, uh, probably some others I don't quite recall, but I love that documentary. I could watch it over and over and over and over again. I'm so sad that I never got to see John Williams play live. It's just, yeah, he was still touring, I think, but I was touring as well. And when I was touring, there was very little opportunity to get out and see anybody because I was performing 6 nights a week, and uh, if there were any concerts in town, they're usually at the same time that I was performing. Usually, in the band would be performing from about 9 until 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning. Just impossible to get out and see people. You know what, Reginald? That's a very good question, and I'll tell you what. I've played a lot of bars, too many. Actually, I've played so many bars. I've given thousands and thousands of performances down through the years because I used to play 6 nights a week for years, and that adds up to thousands of shows. And uh, whilst I wasn't really playing classical in all of them, there's been quite a few occasions where I've been playing in restaurants and like wine bars or whiskey bars, or that those types of things, and people are rowdy and uh, yeah, you just get. I mean, I did anyway. I just got through it. I just immerse myself into the music, and I don't really bother, if are listening to me or not. It's funny. I sort of put my ego to the back, uh, which I think you have to do in those situations as a musician, as a live musician. If you get offended too easily because people aren't giving you enough attention, then you're in the wrong space. Uh, if you're wanting attention, like maybe Albeniz just didn't care. He just wanted to jam, and he didn't care really if people were totally fixated on him or if they were just chatting with their friends and having a drink and a meal or something. Uh, yeah, like if I couldn't handle that situation, I wouldn't put myself into it. So I just make sure that my ego is fine. And if I'm playing the best I've ever played and no one's listening and they're all just laughing and having their own time, then all good. Yeah, I guess maybe that's how he handled it too. Maybe he had a somewhat similar approach. And we don't, I'm not too sure. He might have been earning some coin too. I'm not too sure how well off his family was. Or, of course, he was very well known. But yeah, maybe he just needed to make a buck. I'm not sure. Oh, that's cool, man. What are the instruments were being played? Were you the only guitarist, or were there other guitar players? Really, Reginald? Look at that, eh? Bach's music was sort of warm up while people were partying. Oh, well, I don't think you're partying before you go to church, but uh, who knows? Isn't that amazing? Hey, so his Bach, kind of regarded as the greatest composer that has ever lived, and his music was while people were having wine and cheese. Ooh. Maybe he didn't mind. Yeah, it's so hard for us to say. Maybe he was just happy to hear it. A bit like, if you're in a famous band and you're driving down the street and you just hear someone pull up beside you and they're playing your music, something like that. Maybe you're just so flattered, like, wow, at least someone's playing my music. I'm not sure how Bach must have felt about that. He was probably glad that it was before church. If my memory serves me correctly, he was quite a religious fellow, wasn't he? Oh, Burko, you represented the guitar, man. Yes, I like it. I like it. You didn't have uh, a cigarette in here, did you? Like Van Halen. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, man. Van Halen with his cigarette and he just used to put it in the strings there and woo. Yeah, the guitar's still like that, isn't it? I mean, Segovia went a long way. He's often heralded as the guy that made the guitar or brought it into being considered as a serious concert instrument and brought the classical guitar to the wider masses. But it's still Oh, Kevin, I can't talk to you, mate. Sorry, Kevin. Sorry, but after what happened to the All Blacks yesterday, um, yep, I don't know, man. I don't know if we can be friends. You guys thrashed us. Nah, all good, Kevin. All good, mate. All good. A thoroughly well deserved victory. At least we beat Ireland in the cricket. Hey. Yeah, so back to the classical guitar and how well it's known and stuff. Yeah, it's still kind of on the fringes. I think rock guitar and that has overshadowed classical guitar for sure. I mean, I don't think it. I know it. We all know it. People don't even know what classical guitar is. Sometimes what's classical guitar? Just guitar, isn't it? Oh, Paco de Lucia, an incense stick. I'm not sure. Man, those guys did all sorts of stuff, eh? They were legends, man. They just did whatever they wanted. Oh, Carl, did you watch it? Oh, Carl, yes, to England. What's happened to Southern Hemisphere rugby? Our rule is lost, I think. Oh well, so be it. Hey. Oh, Carl, you're Welsh. Sorry, mate. Sorry, I was assuming that you were from Aussie. I've been to Wales. Loved it. Just to Cardiff. I was playing there for Womix. Yeah, I played how long was I in Cardiff? 3 days, I think. Yeah, the Womix Festival back in when was it? 2014, I think, or 2013. Oh, you're in Cardiff. Cool, man. Yeah, I had a good time there. Good old Welsh. I remember driving over there. Huge bridge, man. Is that called the Firth? The Firth of Firth? I think it's called the Firth. Drove across from England across this massive bridge. Like it was huge. I can't even remember how long we were driving on that thing. Yeah, I've had the good fortune of touring Wales, Ireland, England, and Scotland back in the day. Slovakia, France. So yeah, I've been out to Europe 4 times, I think. 5 times playing the old guitar, man. I can tell you, when I was younger, I didn't think the guitar would take me around the world, but it has. So I'm very grateful for that. Now I'm lucky to have travelled, and just played music for a living. It's been amazing. Oh, the Severn Bridge, is that what it's called? Yeah, that bridge is huge, eh? Like, I don't know, it seemed like I was driving on it for ages, but I don't know, maybe I was just super excited and it seemed longer than it was. I don't think Vivaldi did, man, because I don't even think the guitar was in this form when Vivaldi was writing music. I don't think this form of guitar was finalized until sort of 1815, 1820, somewhere around there. So I don't think Vivaldi was writing for the guitar per se. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But he was a bit before that, eh? Wasn't he around sort of Bach's time? Yeah, I think the mandolin's a bit older than the guitar, but I'm not sure exactly. I don't know too much about the mandolin. I know John Williams plays concerto in D, doesn't he? Oh. Something like that. I've never played that before. Just remember one of the themes from that concerto in D by Vivaldi. Actually, John Williams plays it on the Seville concert. I think it's at the, oh, not at the end, but he plays it with that small Spanish orchestra. Good night, Carl. Have a happy time in Cardiff, mate. Ooh, Saturday night. Ooh, might be going out on the town, eh? Oh no, it's not Saturday night over there. It's Friday night, isn't it? Hey, Kevin. The last few bars of the main part. Oh, yep. So we must be. Are we there? Okay, so what are you struggling with, Kevin? What are you struggling with exactly? Left hand. Okay, Kevin, I know this is a very difficult way to communicate, isn't it? Because I just have to read what you've written and try to determine maybe what's up with the left hand. But I can give you some general tips. I can tell you that by this time, your hand might be tired. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong. Just keep typing, man, and as I read, I'll get a more precise understanding of what's going wrong. Not what's going wrong, but what issues you're having. Let's let's just say you're tired. Hopefully your guitar's got a good action on it, nice and low. Maybe you've got medium tension strings or something like that. The chords themselves, I find, aren't that difficult. That's just a B major. Is it the speed between the shifts? Like the idea, of course, is to keep relaxed as you can, and you can look ahead to your next chord. So even though I'm playing this one, I'm actually looking to the next chord to hear, because that's quite a tricky little swap. So make sure you can do it, you know, just forget about the picking. That kind of thing. Make sure you're, if you just do it like that, you'll think, hey man, it's not even that hard. Now, those little bits can be a bit tricky because you've got to try to keep that open E coming through while you're doing all those other things. So there, you want to make sure you've got your thumb in a really good position at the back. Excuse me. Just in case that is. So that's after the C7 chord. Also, between the two chords, between this and this, keep an eye on my second finger. It's guiding down, so that's so handy. That little technique there of using the guide finger principle there. And then same again. That little bit, don't lift your fingers too high off the strings. So where are we? Here, keep your fingers real close to the strings. Danny from Instagram, is that you, buddy? How was that, Kevin? Did those tips sort of help? What with the left hand? Like anything, man, it's a really good idea to keep your fingers very close to the strings all the time, and prepare them as well as you can for what's to come. So, like, you know, I'm hardly lifting my fingers there. This shouldn't be too bad. That's just basically the beginning. Nice and close. Yeah, and just remember too that you could be quite tired by the time you reach that point, because you've been, you know, been playing like thunder for a couple of minutes. But just a nice light touch, you know. don't get fatigued too early. Ah, thank you, thank you. Been playing it for a while, no excuses really. But yeah, you just got to really relax and plan ahead. You know, there's actually for the left hand. Uh, I'm not going to make out that it's not challenging because it is, but there's a lot of repetition in there, and some of it's not too bad. You know, so there's like chords and Asturias is actually really easy to break down into little bits and pieces. Some pieces aren't like that. You know that they've got long, strange phrases that flow all together, and it's kind of difficult to like cut it into little chunks that are easy to understand. But Asturias is probably one of those rare ones. It's of course it's a difficult piece. However, it's quite easy to like take a chunk of it and figure that out. Um, and for the right hand, there's a lot of the Giuliani, like 1 to 10 exercises for the right hand. I recorded all 120 of his exercises for the right hand. Exercise number 2 has got Asturias written all over it. Isn't it funny? If you're struggling with Asturias in the right hand, just go back to Giuliani, study number 2. Oh, I should say, you know, for his right hand studies, that is, not his etudes and that. Yeah, and then you know, just work on that. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's obviously quite a few different transcriptions running around out there. I play the one by the Timothy Kane. I play his arrangement. He's an Australian guitarist. He released this blue book years and years ago, and it had Zambra, Granadinos, Torre Bermeja, Seville, Asturias, and one other. Yeah, and he does a little bit differently. Like when you see John Williams do this part, he goes to, I think it's a chord like that. Something like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't play it like that. I go to this chord. Oh, actually, it's the same chord. It's just done a bit differently. But I think John does it. Yeah, something like that. Uh, I don't know. Gee, that's really hard for me to do. Like, if you can make it, it's actually a way easier way to do it because you're just going instead of. That's quite a big leap. John. I don't know. And feel free to refinger it to suit yourself. You know, those transcriptions by the greats. I'm not dissing them at all, but they did it for themselves. You know, it's not like they were sitting in their room thinking, "Oh, I'm going to transcribe this for the world." They're just that they transcribe it in accordance with who they are and their technique and stuff, and you know whatever else is going on with their lives at the time. Uh, so I think you can refinger it to however you want. Yeah, it's a C7. Refinger it. You know, I think I mentioned earlier in the live stream that I used to play the octaves in the B section like this. Recently, and I'm talking about last week. Recently, I've changed, and I'm doing it on the G and the E string. So I mean, I've refingered it to suit myself. Yeah, there's no rule out there that says you have to play it the way that Andre Segovia transcribed it, or Julian Bream, or John Williams, or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure those dudes change it up too, you know, to suit themselves. Or they may disagree with the way another guy's transcribed it. I mean, listen to Julian Bream's transcriptions of Albaniz's work, and he's totally different. He throws in stuff that you don't hear other guitarists playing, and Julian Bream obviously did it for himself. Yeah. Robert Phillips. Well, if you get my transcription, I mean, it's basically how I play it. But yeah, you know, you got to just get some other transcriptions, Kevin, and see how they work out for you, and you might find that you take that bit and you take that bit, as long as it's still true to the original piece. That's kind of the most important thing. How you finger it and where you put the chords and all that type of stuff, that's really up to you. It should just make musical sense. Yeah, that's the main thing. Does it make sense musically? Is it still fairly true to the original? I mean, if you're putting your second finger on the third fret of the D string, where someone else uses the seventh fret on the G string with their first finger, it doesn't matter, man. That's the way I look at it. I do stuff my way, and you should too. Just do it your way. Make it work for you. Well, I'm going to be signing out in a few minutes, people. It's almost up to 2 hours. So if you have any last minute questions about Asturias, please ask me now. otherwise, you can, if you want to keep in touch with what I'm up to, make sure to follow me, MBN Guitar, on Instagram and Facebook. I do post there every now and again, and I am getting a lot more active. My plan over the next year is to try to go live every weekend. That's the plan, until I can find enough time to start uploading proper tutorials again, like I used to, two, 2 to 3 years ago. So yeah, make sure you do follow me. There's some little icons on my channel art. Otherwise, just search NBN Guitar online and you'll be able to follow and keep up to date with what I'm up to. Thanks, Kevin, buddy. You too, man. All the best with working on Asturias. Ooh. Oh, I should have stopped while I was ahead. Well, everybody, that's me. I'm going to sign out. All the best for your guitar playing. And yeah, be sure to follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll keep up with everything that I'm doing. Yeah, so peace out, everybody. And as you know, let your fingers fly. See you later, Burko. All the best for your next concert, man.